Glossopharyngeal nerve and to the optic ganglion. So we must have to draw one diagram which will make your life easier. So see here all students. You have here the inferior salivatory nucleus. Okay, inferior salivatory nucleus. From the inferior salivatory nucleus, fibers are coming out for the ninth cranial nerve. Which cranial nerve? That is the ninth cranial nerve. Now ninth cranial nerve, please remember, ninth cranial nerve, it is now giving here the branch. What is the name of the branch? It is giving here the branch that is known as the tympanic branch. Okay, this is the tympanic branch. I can complete here the ninth cranial nerve also. Then I will continue with the tympanic branch. That ninth cranial nerve, it is also going here, and now it is giving innervation to the stylopharyngeus muscle, innervation to the carotid body and sinus, to the tonsils also, and to the posterior 1/3 of the tongue also. Okay, inferior salivatory nucleus, and here you have the ninth cranial nerve nucleus which is present in the medulla oblongata. So fibers are going here like this, and then it is dividing into the two branches like this. Okay, now see here, this tympanic branch, now it is important for us. This tympanic branch, it is entering into the middle ear cavity. This middle ear cavity, it is forming here the tympanic plexus. Okay, from the tympanic plexus, it is giving here a branch that is known as lesser petrosal nerve. Okay, which nerve? Lesser petrosal nerve. And please remember, this lesser petrosal nerve, I am drawing it here because I don't have space here. So this lesser petrosal nerve, it is passing through foramen ovale, and when it is passing through foramen ovale, now it is ending in this ganglion. So this is your otic ganglion. Which ganglion? Otic ganglion. So pre-sympathetic fibers or preganglionic fibers for the you can say parotid gland, it is given from the lesser petrosal nerve to the otic ganglion. From here, the fur fibers from the trigeminal nerve, postganglionic fiber, trigeminal nerve. Now it is going forward, and now it is innervating your parotid gland. And the name of this branch is known as auriculotemporal nerve. It is your which nerve? Auriculotemporal nerve. So this is your whole relation of the parotid gland. So this is your which ganglion? This is your otic ganglion. Okay. Now one very important point which you must have to remember, clinical correlation, that is known as Frei's syndrome. So what is the Frei's syndrome? Please remember, whenever you perform Frei's syndrome, for example, you perform parotidectomy, removal of the parotid gland. After this operation, sometimes what happen, that these auriculotemporal nerve, these are your which fibers? They are your secretomotor fibers. So these auriculotemporal nerve starts to regenerate. And when it starts to regenerate, what is going to happen? It is going to join the great auricular nerve. Okay, great auricular nerve, which is innervating the skin. Okay, which is innervating the skin around your, you can say the parotid gland. So when it joins the great auricular nerve, it is going to cause stimulation of the sweat glands and causing hyperemia in the area of the skin. In the area of the skin supplied by this nerve. So this is known as what? Fraze syndrome. Okay, so once again I am telling, parotid, you perform parotidectomy, removal of the parotid gland. Sometimes what happens that these auriculotemporal nerve fibers, which are secretomotor fibers, they will regenerate, and when they regenerate, they are going to join the great auricular nerve, and when they join the great auricular nerve, it will cause the stimulation of the sweat glands and hyperemia in the area which is supplied by this nerve. So patient will develop Fraze syndrome. So whenever person is going to eat something, there will be sweating in the region supplied by your which nerve? Auriculotemporal nerve. So it is also known as Fraze syndrome. It is also known as auriculotemporal syndrome. Okay, clear to everyone?